last week on When the Beat Drops.
And you mean to tell me you're gonna go on tour and you're not going to come to New York City? Like, every artist is supposed to come to New York. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I already sat here and I learned the whole freaking new album, and I can't even see you in concert so I can sing it along with you. Everybody, it is your girl Jade Ashley, and I want to welcome you back to a new video of When the Beat Drops. And like always, you know I'm here to give you my 5 hottest beats of the week, so stay tuned for more. Okay guys, so let's dive into this week's beats. So the first beat of this week, I want to talk about Jazmine Sullivan. For the past couple of videos, I've been reminding you guys that her new album Reality Show was coming out on the 13th, and the 13th was this past Tuesday. So I'm not going to remind you guys repeatedly about an album coming out and not get it. So I have Jazmine Sullivan's new album Reality Show, and I felt it was very, very much important for me to get the actual physical copy of the album because, you know, this is her first album in 4 years. Like, she just took a hiatus from the music industry and nobody heard from her, and you know, she popped back up, and I feel like she's she's just amazing. Like, her voice is just amazing. She is a real singer. Like, she sings her throats off, sings her ass off. So how do I want to start this? I think I'll start with her Breakfast Club interview, because I actually listened to the interview before I actually went out to purchase the physical copy of the album. So like any artist who's, you know, dropping an album release week, they go to, you know, radio stations, especially here in New York City, and one of the radio stations that they hit up is the Breakfast Club. Y'all know I love me the Breakfast Club. I always use them in like just about all of my videos. So she hit up the Breakfast Club, and it wasn't actually a long interview like I thought it would have been. I mean, you know, she was gone for 4 years, so you would think it would be like a long interview, but that's besides the point. So the part that I want to get into as far as what I learned from this interview was that they asked her, so, you know, do you feel like the industry has changed since being back? But what she said was, you know, like, the industry wasn't fun no more. It's all about image. Like, she basically made it seem like the industry wasn't fun. She doesn't want to do this no more. Deuces. But what she revealed in the interview was that it wasn't the industry that made her, you know, take this break. What it was is that at the time she was in an abusive relationship and she did not know how to get out of it. She continued to go back to this guy that was like abusing her, and he was abusing her not only physically but mentally as well. So she had to go. She had to, you know, figure out, how can I get out of this situation? How can I like better my life? So I mean, which is very much understandable. So fun fact for everybody who out there who thought like myself that she left because she told us she left the industry because her dissatisfaction with the industry, it had nothing to do with the industry, and it had nothing to do with her wanting to leave because she didn't like what was going on. It was a bad relationship that she was in. But like every singer, or just about every singer, they take their life experiences, bad relationships, heartbreaks, boohoo, all of that, and they put it into what we like to call an album. And usually what we get is we get good ass albums. And Jazmine Sullivan, she put out a good ass album, I must say so. So ladies and gentlemen, Jazmine Sullivan, she is back, and I mean she's back. So let me get into some of the tracks on the album and tell you what I think about them, what's my favorites, you know, the usual typical, you know, album reviews that I do here and there. So the first song on the album is Dumb, which was the first single ever released from her since coming back, and that is featuring, you know, Meek Mill. You know, they both from Philly. Hey Philly, what's up? I don't know if anybody in Philly is watching, but if you are, hey. But yeah, but honestly, I don't dislike the song, but I don't really care too much for the song. I hope that doesn't sound harsh, but I will say the following song on the album is Mascara. Now Mascara, that's my song right there. Now I heard the song, but you know, it's something different like when you have the album and you listen to the songs in order, and you know, because it like basically tells like a story. Now Mascara, that's my song. Now some people might sit here and say, oh yeah, that's her song because she wears makeup and all of this other stuff. Ain't got nothing to do with that. But I really, really love Mascara. Like, that's definitely one of my favorites off the album. Then we have another song by the name of Brand New. Now Brand New because I watched the Breakfast Club interview before, like prior to buying the album, she sat there and she talked about how she was in a bad relationship and stuff, whatever. Now me, I like to play Inspector Gadget here and there every once in a while. So in the song, she says something with, okay, she talks about how like you're with a person and then, you know, once they start, you know, they start getting up and stuff and, you know, they start rising to the occasion, some people want to act brand new. And she was saying in one of the verses, she said, she sung something with, people were saying to her, ain't that your nigga with Jay, ain't that your nigga with Ye. So then I'm like, well, obviously I know this album had to stem from that relationship that she had talked about that made her leave the industry. So if it's any truth to, you know, that song Brand New, and if people were saying to her, is that your man with Jay-Z, and if that's your man with like Kanye, that makes me think, was the abusive relationship that she was in with somebody in the industry that we may know, or somebody that's well known behind the scenes within the industry? So I was like, but I ain't have time to sit here and dig up what could possibly, I mean, it'll probably like unravel, because I mean it's only the first week that the album's been out, but that was one song that I liked, but it made me like, you know, think like, or whatever. It's like ripping off plastic. But moving on, I want to say my next favorite song on the album would have to be Hood Love. Hashtag Hood Love. Is exactly what it sounds like. She talk about her love, being down for her man and stuff or whatever. I really like that song as well. And then I think I'm just going to talk about my favorites. So, but I will have to say maybe my last favorite on the album is definitely, well, I like Let It Burn. I like the music of like Let It Burn, like when it starts and stuff or whatever. Let It Burn, it comes after Hood Love, and I like the way, you know, the music for that sounds. But I would have to say my ultimate favorite off of the entire album is Forever Don't Last. That song, you get the typical classical Jazmine Sullivan where she just goes off and she just gives you flat out vocals, and you know, she just fills and she gives you the riffs and the runs, and it's just, I love that song. I love that song. If I can sing that song, I would sing it, but I can't. I don't got the voice for it, but I absolutely love that song. But I need to end this by saying, if you don't got it, you need to get it. Whether you get it on iTunes, whether you get it on Google Play, whether you get it on Amazon, or whether you sit here and you get the physical copy. But when I tell you this is real music, this is a real singer, we have to support real artists, we must do so. So yes, Jazmine Sullivan's new album, Reality Show. If you don't got it, make sure you get it, okay? So moving on to our next beat of the week, we have to talk about Ciara. So Ciara, this week she released her new song I Bet, and before I even talk about that, it was kind of like in conjunction with her new cover for Vogue's publication L'Uomo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I was trying to look up for the pronunciation because I didn't want to sound stupid, but I couldn't find it. So what I'll do is I'm going to insert the cover right here, and I'll insert, you know, pictures from the spread. So L'Uomo, like I said, is a publication of Vogue magazine, and it is a men's issue. So it's like a men's magazine, and Ciara can be seen within the magazine, you know, posing in menswear. And like Ciara, she's the type of person, we all know this for sure, very much similar to Aaliyah as far as like the fashion goes. She's someone who can take, you know, or even like Tiana Taylor as well, can take men's clothing and just make it sexy and just So yeah, she's on the cover of Vogue's publication L'Uomo, which is the men publication, like I previously said. And what I like is that, as you know, the cover released and the spread release and stuff, whatever, she also released her new single I Bet. And when I tell you, this was a song that is I don't know if anybody else, you know, goes through this when they hear like new music. First of all, I love listening to new music, and when I heard this song, this was a song that from the very first time, the very first listen, I knew I was gonna love it. And then I'm listening to the song and I'm like, nah, she's talking about Future. She's talking about Future. And what I like is when artists sit here and like go through things publicly, and we sit here and we don't hear nothing from them. We hear that it happened, but we don't hear their side of the story like verbally. But what they do is they come out with this music and they give their side of the story. And basically what she was doing with this song was she was giving her side of the story of what happened between her and Future, and she was saying, you know, I bet, you know, when I move on and stuff or whatever, you're gonna miss me and all of this other stuff. And what I decided to do was I decided to what I want to do, I should say, is I want to read, you know, some of the lyrics from the song, so you kind of, you know, get a gist of what she's like saying and stuff or whatever. So the first part that I do want to read, of course, is the chorus of the song. So in the chorus she says, I bet you start loving me as soon as I start loving someone else, somebody better than you. I bet you start needing me as soon as you see me with someone else, somebody other than you. And I know that it hurts, you know that it makes you, I know that it hurts your pride, but you thought the grass was greener on the other side. I bet you start loving me as soon as I start loving someone else, somebody better than you. As I'm reading it, the song is playing in my head, that's why I kind of like messed up on the words. But moving on, the next part that I want to read is actually the hook of the song. So she said, so you could keep that bitch over there giving me the ugly stare, the one with the silicone ass and that Brazilian hair. You gonna respect me, no, 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 till I'm not there. See, you got comfortable, now you ain't really scared. And then another part that I wanted to read that stuck out to me in the song is a part that's in the second verse. It's not the whole second verse, but one part in the second verse that stood out to me was, you acting like you upgraded me, I upgraded you. You and me, Fashion Week at Paris, I put you on to that new. So I was like, go off, Ciara, let his ass know, girl. Let him know. Because it's like, let's be honest, like, we saw them like slaying Fashion Week and stuff together, and you know, he started becoming like not so much of a fashion icon, but he was a rapper that people started paying attention to his fashion. And honestly, it's only like a very few rappers that we pay attention to as far as like what they're wearing fashion wise. So I mean, I feel like she definitely put him on when it came to like the fashion. And you know, she let it be known that's your girl over there, silicone ass, Brazilian hair. You think that's an upgrade? All right, go ahead, take that. So I'm gonna find me somebody better. So when I tell you I love this song up and down, when I tell you I listen to this song repeatedly and repeatedly since it released, no lie. So I love it. So if you guys want to hear this song in its entirety, you know you have to head over to my blog at www.jade-ashley94.blogspot.com to hear it. It's already up there, and yeah. So moving on to our third beat of the week, I have some sad news to report to you guys. I was a little bit shocked when I first read it the other day, but R&B Divas Atlanta will not be returning to TV One this year. The show has been canceled. So I read the story on the YBF.com, and basically what they were saying was, what they heard as to why the show was canceled. It was saying that there was like some shakeups in the cast, because you know, like literally ever since the show started, there's either been somebody that was taken out of the cast and added to the cast. Like, just there's always shakeups with the cast when it comes to R&B Divas. So shakeups in the cast. The network wanted to slash the budget, and then it was a pending litigation from former executive Nikki Gilbert, who filed a lawsuit against the network for the spin-off show, which was Hollywood Divas. So basically, I'm sure you guys know about Hollywood Divas, and Nikki Gilbert, because she was executive producer of, you know, R&B Divas, she, you know, it was basically like they kind of like, you know, stole the idea, but instead of it being like singers, it was like actresses and stuff or whatever. So she sued them for that, and I guess it's like still like something pending within like court and stuff or whatever. So, you know, with the, you know, legal issues of it, them wanting to slash, you know, take money out of the budget, and then also with the whole cast situation, they was like, you know what, let's just cut it. It's trouble altogether. Now what I will say is, one, I will definitely like miss this show. Obviously this is like a music oriented show. I'm into music, I love singers and stuff, you know, I talk about supporting real singers and stuff like that. So you know for a fact that I you know, watch this show. This show actually started my freshman year of college. So I'm like, oh, I'm really sad to see the show go. But I was saying to my friend, I was like, the first person I am blaming, F all of this money, all of this lawsuit crap, I'm blaming Latavia Robertson. Because the last season of R&B Divas ACL, she got the nerves to go on the show and don't want to sing. Now, I don't want to judge her, but at the same time, it's like, girl, you are one of the original members of Destiny's Child. Everybody in that damn group, all 4 original members. We know Beyonce. But, and then, you know, Kelly is Kelly. And then even like Latoya came out and, you know, she did her whole solo thing. And she's like the only person in the group that didn't do nothing. I understand she went through her struggles, her battles, she had her baby and stuff or whatever. But it's like when she got on this platform, she didn't want to do nothing. Just like I ain't say nothing, she didn't want to do nothing. It's like you on a show for singers and you don't want to sing. And I kid you not. It was only 2-3 times we heard her sing. And it was so little. I remember one time she was I forgot. I think it was I think the first time she sung was when they were like in, what was like, they was like in the Bahamas, Puerto Rico. They was somewhere tropical or whatever. And she finally sat at the table and, you know, birds flying high, you know how I feel. That was all we got out of her. Kid you not. That was all we got out of her. And then I think I don't even remember her singing in the finale when they did their little showcase and stuff during Grammy weekend. And then I think she sung a little bit and she sung the same thing for Wendy during the reunion. So I'm blaming Latavia. I mean, I'm sure Latavia is really not the issue, but in my world, in my mind, I'm gonna blame Latavia. So Latavia, the show for it, girl. But moving on to the 4th beat of this week, I want to get into 2 Chainz and Nancy Grace. He was on, like, I've heard of Nancy Grace and I've seen her. She's annoying, blah blah blah. She goes off for 40 days and 40 nights and all of that. But 2 Chainz was on her show this week. I think H&L, right? I believe so. I don't watch it, so if I said it wrong, I'm sorry. I'll put it in the right one. But he was on the show this week and their topic of this discussion was the legalization of marijuana. Now, she was against it, and her defense, or one of, you know, her examples that she used as to why the legalization of marijuana should not happen, was she used videos of parents forcing their children to actually smoke. So 2 Chainz, you know, his defense to that whole situation was that you can't use cases here and there and blame it on everybody. So of course he's for it because he smokes and stuff or whatever, but he's like, okay, obviously something wrong with those parents that, you know, make their kids, you know, smoke and stuff or whatever, but you don't blame it on like the whole stoner community, as he put it. So I was very much agreeing, like, you just don't say, okay, because these 2 parents made their kids smoke, everybody should not be smoking and they should not, you know, legalize marijuana. Now, me personally, I'm not a smoker. I don't really care if they legalize marijuana or not. But I mean, some people need it. I mean, there's people that I know that I prefer for them to be high so they could calm down and shut up and get out of my face. So it's beneficial to some people. That's what it is. Me, I don't benefit from it, but whatever the case may be. But I did grab a few quotes from the, you know, from the debate and some points that 2 Chainz did make, and as to why he feel like it should be legalized. So one thing that he said was, I'm not sure if you know, but everybody has the ability to get their hands on pot right now, whether it's legal or not. I just feel like if you legalize this particular drug, you can cut out certain things in the criminal justice system, as far as the overcrowding of prisons, as far as putting it on our criminal record to prevent us from getting loans, to prevent us from getting homes. Just the whole thing around recreational weed isn't making any sense to me. We're in a deficit right now. We gotta try to find our ways of getting out. So I figure if we got half of the states legalizing pot, if the rest of the community legalizes pot, that frees up taxpayers' money, that allows us to do something with those extra funds, as far as fixing things from potholes in the street to stadiums to, you know, I'm just down with it. So I mean, I don't pay taxes and stuff or whatever, but everything he said, you know, pretty much sounded legit to me, especially with the whole, you know, taking something that doesn't seem so big and stop putting people in jails and stop messing up people's criminal records and, you know, making spaces in prisons and stuff or whatever. And then one thing he also said was that it's just a waste of time, because he even took a personal experience that he went through. I don't know if you guys remember, but at some point he was arrested because he was pulled over by the police. They found the weed crusher and it was like residue from like the marijuana inside of there, and they arrested him for that, and it wasn't even that a lot in there. And once they realized that he was 2 Chainz, they asked for a selfie and let him go. They wasted his time. So, I mean, it's pretty much a funny interview, so I'll definitely link that interview below so you guys can, like, you know, check it out. 2 Chainz, great job. You held your ground. You sounded very well. She kept on saying, oh, you graduated for a 4.0 and stuff or whatever and all this other crap. But it was a good interview. Definitely the talk of the week, so I definitely had to make it a beat for this week. So, moving on to our 5th and our last beat of this week, I have to talk about Chris Breezy. It's always something with Chris Brown. Always something. So I'm sure you guys seen like I seen, and matter of fact, let me play the video before I even talk about it. So yeah.
Oh, them niggas getting it in over there.
Okay guys, so if you just watched that video, then you know that it was Monday morning. We all woke up, you know, we had a nice weekend and whatnot, and then it was a video shown that Chris Brown, he was in a club at San Jose, and you know, he was doing his hosting duties, he was performing and stuff, and a shootout rung out in the club, and 5 people were shot, and he was seen running. First things first, people who sit here making fun of Chris Brown, oh, he running out of the club, they shooting, he thought he was a thug, this and that. Listen, you go in the club, let them start shooting, and you just sit there and not run away. If I'm anywhere, whether it's a club, whether we outside, wherever I'm at, if they're shooting, I'm trying to get out of there, okay? So that's number 1. But number 2 is he went to court this week or whatever, and he was, I guess he was doing like an update or a check with the judge with the whole Rihanna case. I'm not sure exactly, but he was in court, and it turns out that his, what is it, probation or something like that was open. I'm just gonna read the quote or the statement from TMZ, and yeah, I'll get into, it's gonna explain everything. So, as for why the shootings are an issue, they were raised in the probation report. The judge noted so far there's no evidence Chris was criminally involved, but the probation officer says there is also concern that when he performs or attends at some of his public events, people will get shot or seriously injured. The probation officer also notes Chris has been arrested twice while on probation. Once for assault in DC and also for throwing a rock at his mom's car in rehab. As the officer notes, Chris was making comments about knives and guns during a group rehab meeting. The probation officer, who thinks Chris is focusing too much on his career rather than community service and rehabilitation, recommends to the judge that Chris serves time. The officer says the singer has shown a pattern of making choices that are counterproductive. So basically, long story short, they're trying to lock him up because they feel like he's still on probation and there's too much stuff going on for somebody that's on probation. So basically, all the stuff that was happening to Chris Brown that led up to him going to jail before, because he was on probation, they're trying to put him back in jail for that situation. And also they feel like if he's not out on these streets and doing what he has to do as far as like hosting these parties in these clubs, there won't be no shootings and stuff or whatever. My take on it is like, come on, man. We know Chris is cool. We know, we established this. We said, yo, he's bipolar. What do you expect? Get him some medication. This might solve problems. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm just suggesting things here. But, I mean, like, he's dead about to go out on tour in like a week and a half. Like, he's going on tour with Trey Songz and Tyga. Between the Sheets starts like in Virginia in like the 25th or some shit like that. And then on top of that, him and Tyga got this whole fan of a fan, you know, going on. They just shot the video to AO this week. I'll put a picture here of them on set, but they just shot the music video to AO. He's going on tour, and y'all like, well, he needs to get locked back up. They really trying to bring my nigga down, seriously. And I don't mean to say it like that, but seriously, they're really trying to bring him down. We know he crazy here and there, but come on, he's only doing what, he's an artist. This is how he, like, aside from sitting here, you know, making music videos and going to award shows and making albums and stuff like that, these celebrities sit here and they do club appearances and they perform in clubs. He can't control if people want to shoot up the club. If he ain't got nothing to do with it, he ain't got nothing to do with it. You don't put him in behind bars because you feel like if he ain't there, then you know it ain't gonna happen. They're trying to bring him down. He's supposed to go back to court in March, and while that's going on, he'll still be on tour and stuff or whatever. But I'm hoping they have like some type of sympathy and realize, like, yo, y'all need to hold it down. Like, don't try to bring him down. Like, he's already been through so much in the past, which has contributed to the position that he's in right now. There has been so much, you know, scrutiny from like the media and stuff or whatever. Look, hashtag pray for Chris Brown. Hashtag pray for Breezy. That's it. It's still the beginning of the year. We can still make this year better than it was last year. And that's all I have to say. Those are my 5 hot beats for this week. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this week's video of When the Beat Drops. And like always, I have to remind you guys to comment on my videos, like my videos, subscribe to my channel, and share my videos with others. And I want to, you know, remind you guys that today, because this is Friday, but you will see this Saturday. So I want to remind you guys that tonight, the Whitney Houston biopic will be coming on Lifetime. And Yaya DaCosta will be starring as Whitney Houston. And the movie was directed by Angela Bassett. And I have to say that I am excited to actually watch it. When the trailer first dropped, I was like, you know what, this actually might be successful. So I'm excited to watch it, and you guys can definitely look forward to me reviewing the movie in next week's video of When the Beat Drops. And other than that, if you did not see somewhere previously in the video, I did state what my song of the week was, and my song of this week will have to go to Ciara for her new single, I Bet. When I tell you, I've listened to that song since it's released this week, over and over and over and over. So I was like, yes, I definitely have to make this song my song of the week. So like I previously stated, if you want to hear the song in its entirety, you can head over to my blog at www.jade-ashley94.blogspot.com. And once again, thank you so much, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.